New Year's Day. My good friend posted a video for Fengqing. Brother Ning. Does this girl look like a sister-in-law to you? The circle has gone crazy. In video. A man and a woman kissing passionately. The car shook violently. The girl's face is clearly my wife. All the blood in my body suddenly rushed to the top of my head. Tremble. Started dialing my wife's phone number. Ask. Husband. What's the matter? His voice was obviously unsteady. Like doing some strenuous exercise. I just wanted to speak. But he yelled a few times with a high-pitched voice. Fine. I'll hang up first. Playing cards with friends. Do playing cards. But he clearly told me to work overtime. I just felt all the blood in my body rush to the top of my head. Keep calling Gung Qiuqiu. And he never answered. Hit again. Already in shutdown state. I sat on the sofa and smoked all night. He didn't come back all night either. Wait until early next morning. He just finally came back. Ling Yi. You woke up so early? I looked up at him. He didn't notice. My eyes are full of bloodshot eyes. Apparently he didn't sleep all night. I played cards all night. So sleepy. I'm going to bed first. He yawned. If you cross me, you will go to the bedroom to sleep. I opened my mouth and stopped her. A voice that hasn't been spoken for a long time. Hoarse and unpleasant. Didn't you say last night that you had to work overtime because of something at the company? Why did you suddenly go play cards? Panic flashed across his face. He quickly calmed down. After all, it's the first day of the Lunar New Year. The company won't be so unkind. I only went for a little while. The leader asked him to go back. I figured it would be fine if I came back. Just play cards with my little sisters. You're not even jealous of this, are you? As he spoke, he pouted. Looking dissatisfied. I also need to have my own social network. I can't just hang around you every day, right? His words are watertight. I still heard a hint of guilt in his words. I glanced at him. I didn't ask any more questions. You go and have a rest. I'll call you after dinner. He breathed a sigh of relief quietly. Just charge your phone and go. I waited for him to sleep for about half an hour before leaving. Pick up his cell phone. But it prompts for a power-on password. We had made an appointment not to have a password on each other's mobile phones. Give the other person a sense of security. Unexpectedly, one day he broke this agreement with his own hands. The phone suddenly rang. It's a message from a person named Wang. How about it? You go back so late. Does your husband suspect you? I frowned. No action yet. There was another one posted over there. Can we meet again next time? I like you very much. Next time we'll do something new later. It will definitely make you feel so good. My heart skipped a beat. Even my fingers became as cold as fire. It turns out he has been lying to me. He always leaves early and comes home late lately. It is said that the company has many things going on at the end of the year. I'm so busy every day that I can't stand it. I still feel sorry for him. Afraid that he will be tired. Make chicken soup for him every day to replenish his health. Emotion. I replenished it for him. He used it all on others. There was no reply from the other end. I didn't send any more messages. I've tried several passwords, but none are correct. Afraid that Gung Qiuqiu would wake up, he would put it back in its original position. It's noon. Gung Qiuqiu finally woke up. As soon as I opened my eyes, I rushed out to look for my phone. I found my phone intact. I breathed a sigh of relief when I put it on the table. Husband. Have you ever looked at my phone? I scanned Gung Qiuqiu. Nervous face. Smiled lightly. No. What's going on today? No. I just want to see if my little sisters have sent me messages. Forget it if you don't have it. She was minding her own business playing with her phone. The smile on my lips has never gone away. I refrained from asking him who a Wang was. Just remind him. Another thing is cool. Let's eat first. We have to go back to my parents' house to pay New Year's greetings later. I have all the things ready. Just leave immediately after eating. He was stunned. Why do you still want to go there? Didn't you go there before last year? He doesn't like contact with my family. These years. Because of him, I even go home a lot less often. But this time my attitude is very tough. It's been 5 years since we went back to celebrate the new year. If I don't come back this year, it won't make sense. His face fell. But he didn't say anything. Just eating silently. I suddenly feel very tired. To be with him. I almost lost all ties with my family. But he never thinks of sharing the burden with me. You'll just leave all the problems to me. I'm between them. There's almost no room to breathe anymore. I don't want to compromise this time. Gung Qiuqiu ignored him until he got in the car. I just kept playing with my phone. Set off halfway. He suddenly stopped talking. Mine won't come back. I'm wrinkled. Park the car aside. What's the matter? Suddenly want to get off the car. He unbuckled his seatbelt. While saying coldly, I'm going to my bestie's house. Go back by yourself. I know he is angry. Every time in the past, he was like this, waiting for me to coax him. Just make him happy. Only then will you go back with me. This time I didn't coax him like before. I just asked him one last question. Do you really want this? Heard such words. He was a little surprised. If it had been before, I would have coaxed him immediately. But not this time. So he became even more angry. This is how I want to get it back. Reply yourself. I won't go back anyway. I nodded. Drive away from him without saying a word. I didn't expect that I would leave without really caring about him. Suddenly, he was so angry that he yelled. Son of a bitch. A man who celebrates Chinese New Year leaves his wife on the roadside. You are still a man. No one in the house paid attention to it. Isn't this what he asked for? I just did what he asked. By some strange coincidence, I didn't go too far. Park the car not far away. Watch him on the phone. Not long after, a car stopped in front of him. A man with yellow hair came down from the top. The two of them look very intimate. The relationship seems unusual at first glance. They got in the car. Leave me. Drive behind. 10 minutes passed. The car parked in front of a hotel. They got out of the car hand in hand, and I calmly picked up the camera and took photos until I followed them into the room. Looking at the gold-painted house number on it, I suddenly didn't have the courage to knock on the small door. There were ambiguous voices from men and women inside the door, and I knew what was happening inside. My wife is being suppressed by others and doing whatever she wants. But I also know that as soon as I open this door, our marriage will come to an end. The evidence in my hand is not enough now. I want Gung Qiuqiu to leave the house cleanly, and I will never give her a penny. I listened quietly outside all night and didn't leave until they came out in the early morning. Gung Qiuqiu didn't say a word to me for a whole week. After she came back that day, she locked herself in her room and rarely came out. Although we live under the same roof, we rarely meet. In order to collect more evidence, I hacked Gung Qiuqiu's computer. Sure enough, a large number of chat records with other men were found on her computer, spanning 3 years. The man they chatted with most was the man named Wang. Their chat records were very explicit, and their room opening records reached an astonishing number. I was stunned and froze on the spot, and it took me a long time to recover. I searched for a long time but could not find the video that my good friend sent me, nor could I find other videos on my computer. It seems that she is stored somewhere else. I looked through these records little by little, and after being married for so long, I really discovered another side of her. In front of me, she is a gentle and virtuous good wife. In front of colleagues and friends, she is a generous and good woman. Who would have thought that she could be a capable woman in other places? The thought of me sleeping with another man at the same time for so long made me feel sick. In order not to alert others, I just took pictures of all the evidence and then restored it to its original state. Then I went to the hospital for a physical checkup. She has slept with so many men, who knows if she will be sick. Fortunately, because she doesn't want children, we have always taken measures, so the chance of infection should be low. Just as a precaution, I still did a full set of physical examinations. Fortunately, it turned out I had no problems. Gung Qiuqiu has been waiting for me to lower my head to coax her, and I didn't go after waiting for several days. She suddenly panicked, and for the first time she took the initiative to talk to me. Why don't you come to comfort me? Don't you know I'm angry? Now I feel dirty when I look at her, even a little bit. I can't even maintain my good looks. She choked and saw that my attitude was wrong, so she became even more angry. What happened to you? Did I offend you in some way? You want to do this to me? It was you who forced me to go home with you, even if I didn't want to go. Of course, what's wrong with me? Let me tell you, if you keep this attitude, we will get divorced. She threatened me with divorce every time we quarreled, and I would compromise every time for the sake of this relationship. But now that I don't come back, I wish I could divorce her quickly. Okay, Lee Jolie. She stopped talking for a moment, her eyes a little surprised and uncertain. I didn't want to waste this opportunity. Why, you regretted it again, right? You've been talking about divorce all these years, and now I agree. Why don't you say anything again? She hesitated for a long time before she managed to say something. Words, I just want you to coax me. Who told you not to coax me? Obviously, as long as you lower your head, I will forgive you. Why can't you pamper me? Why did I laugh? Who said that men should coax women? She was obviously in the wrong. She said confidently, all the little fairies are like this now. Look at how others treat their wives, and how do you treat them right? My wife. Am I not good to her? I spend more than 10,000 yuan a month on her. As long as she wants to buy something, I will buy it for her immediately. But even so, she is still not satisfied and hangs around among all kinds of men every day. Use them to get what you want. I suddenly calmed down and looked at the woman in front of me calmly. What about you? What did you do to me? Gung Qiuqiu looked at me with insightful eyes, and she suddenly panicked. I love you so much, it's not right. You okay? Who is it good for? You see, I gave up an entire forest for you, right? She said the last two words with great uncertainty, obviously feeling guilty. I didn't want to say anything anymore, so I simply showed my cards and put the chat records between her and other men in front of her. Then how do you explain these? Gung Qiuqiu looked at the things in front of him, and when he raised his head, his face was already pale. She subconsciously wanted to deny, I don't know what this is, it has nothing to do with me. After a while, she suddenly calmed down and her eyes were no longer flustered. I don't know where you got these things from to slander me. I am not afraid of the shadow. No matter what you say, I will not admit it. She knew that the best way now is not to admit it. As long as she insists that it is a forgery, there is nothing I can do to her. But she underestimated the evidence material I had. I took out another room booking record. Look at this and then make excuses. It clearly recorded her room booking records with various men. The surveillance camera captured her face clearly, and she couldn't find it even if she wanted to deny it. To reason. Silence filled between us, and no one spoke for a while. What broke the silence was Gung Qiuqiu's cell phone ringtone. She took it out and looked at it before hanging up. Then she looked up at me and said, have you seen my computer? She used a declarative sentence. This information is so comprehensive that it cannot be found anywhere else except on her computer. Without waiting for my answer, she continued on by herself. When did you find out? I always thought I hid it well, but it turned out that you had exposed it a long time ago. My eyes were heavy and I asked the answer I wanted to know the most. Why? I treat you with all my heart and soul, and I try my best to satisfy you with everything you want. Why do you still do this? Everything happened from 3 years ago. It started before, proving that Gung Qiuqiu was not such a person at the beginning. When she goes to work every day, she goes on dates with these men. The so-called job is just a cover. We have been living well these years. No setbacks. I really can't understand. What's the reason for him doing this? Gung Qiuqiu suddenly fell silent for a long, long time. Only then did he finally speak. I don't want to, but I need money, a lot of money. And none of them can help me. I'm a little confused. What do you want a lot of money for? Besides, you are in trouble. Tell me. You don't say it. How do I know? As long as you say. We can figure it out together. Is there any obstacle that cannot be overcome? His eyes are a little moist. Face becomes paler. I can't talk anymore. You won't agree either. It's my own choice. I can carry it myself. My heart feels agitated. I was so confused by him. If you didn't ask, how would you know that I would definitely disagree? Didn't even ask. Just give me the verdict. Death penalty. This is not good, right? His lips moved. I wanted to say something, but I held back. Fine. Now that everything has happened like this. If you want to get divorced, just get divorced. I have nothing to say. He said this as if I had done something wrong. It was me who forced him to divorce me. Don't give me that dead look. This time it's settled. I don't know what your reasons are. Must do this. But I can't agree. Your choice is also unacceptable. He raised his head and tried to hold back tears. Don't let him fall. Snort. Do whatever you want. I have no objection. He is still the same as before. Think I'll relent. I will be reluctant to give up. I will definitely coax him. It's impossible to divorce him. He thinks so. Unexpectedly, I stopped asking. He took out the divorce agreement from his bag and handed it to him. Then sign it. The Civil Affairs Bureau will go through the formalities tomorrow morning.